Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today I've got a world first exclusive. From what I can see, nobody on YouTube has posted this yet, and I have got my hands on it. The new Terminator 4K transfer. I just got done watching it, and wow. I knock Cameron a lot on this channel, mainly because of the Terminator 2 transfer. Now, the problem with Terminator 2 was that it had color grade changes. A lot of the sunset scenes in this movie were suddenly changed to blue. It's almost like he didn't white balance it. But I'm proud to report the sun scenes in this movie where Arnie's walking around town finding Sarah Connor's, that looks orange. You can tell he hasn't done anything with the color grade. Now it does have digital noise reduction. So if that's a turn off for you, if that's something you don't like, that is present. But it's not evident. There is subtle signs at it, such as with the police officer scenes where the cops are in station, and there are signs that digital noise reduction is somewhat being used. There are some waxiness in this movie. There is some waxiness. But all the scenes that matter, it's almost like Cameron has learnt from past transfers. It's very, very good, this transfer. And this, to me, is what Terminator 2 should have been. I mean, it has some waxiness, as I mentioned, but it's not an extreme like Terminator 2. It's kind of a happy medium between True Lies and maybe The Abyss. But even The Abyss was a bit too far. Like, this is kind of the happy medium. Now, for those of you wondering, wanting to see the cover in that, let's have a quick look. So this is the slip cover. This is what it looks like, 4K up the top, the Terminator, MGM, Warner Brothers. And then you've got some back artwork there. And then same thing at the side. And let's have a look at that other Bane box. Just more of the same, pretty much. Don't know if that reflection's going to catch it. But let's have a look at the disc. I've already turned the digital code around, so there shouldn't be an issue. So you've got the digital code. And the disc, let's have a look at that disc. I'm just going to come a bit closer to the camera so you can see it. So let me come in. I'm just going to get around the camera. So that is what the disc looks like, if you're wondering. And this does have Dolby Vision. So if you're wondering about Dolby Vision, it does have Dolby Vision. And I will say, this also has the mono track. It's the original theatrical soundtrack, and that's the one I listened to when I viewed the movie. There is a 5.1 there, I believe, and I believe it has Dolby Atmos. It does have Dolby Atmos. But the original mono track appears to be there in its glory. So I know some people were wondering about that. It feels like it's the original movie. During the early stages of the movie, I turned on the bitrate. I didn't want to watch everything bitrate, so I only checked it at the beginning of the movie. But the scene that I watched of the garbage men getting out of the truck, that peaked at about 116 megabits, for the people that are wondering. And it was about 500 nits of peak brightness. So for the people wondering about all that stuff, that's all you can never wonder. But there are cool things with this transfer that is like, you can see the pores on Sarah Connor's face. You can see individual hairs on Kyle Reese's face. So it's a beautiful transfer. And I think it's the definitive way to watch Terminator now. It is better than the Blu-ray. It's evidently better than the Blu-ray. And as I said, I think Cameron needs to go back and do this in the same style as this. This was very good. This, not so much. And I have knocked Cameron a lot on this channel, as I mentioned. But I will give credit where credit's due. He's done a really good transfer. I can't find any problems with the new Terminator transfer. I mean, I could nitpick and say, oh, you know, maybe the grain in this has been cleaned up a bit too much. It does look like a relatively new film, but it feels like 80s still. You still realize it's an 80s movie. You can tell by the themes. You can tell by certain little colors in there. You can tell it's an 80s film. And while I would have liked to see a bit more grain, it's not something I was actively saying, where's the grain? I wasn't doing that. So, yeah, I am a big fan of this. It's got it right. Cameron has hit a home run with this one. And while I don't think anyone's going to really be... I think you're still going to have your critics on YouTube who come out and say, I didn't like the color grade, I didn't like this, or they may only a bit too waxy. I'll say there is people. But, yeah. And for those wondering why I'm talking very quietly, it is midnight in Australia. I just got finished doing this. It is now I believe, what is it? Let's see the date. The 13th. It's actually the 13th right now. So we're past midnight, so it's 12:16 a.m. And that's why I'm talking very quietly. I don't want to wake up the whole apartment block. But yeah, I needed to get this done because what a transfer. My gosh, like, I don't know how involved Cameron was. I mean, maybe he's off doing Avatar and he's gave somewhat the transfer to another company. Like Warner Brothers may be overseeing it. MGM might have been overseeing it, but with the blessing of Cameron. But it appears like he may not have been as involved in this movie as he was with this. But if he was, I will give props to James Cameron. Home run. Now can you please go back and do this properly? Yeah. I'll give credit where credit's due. Cameron's done a great job. And the fact that he's released this to the public, I think it's going to create some hunger now for him to go back and revisit Terminator 2 and do an extended cut, do the extended multiple cuts on 4K. I mean, it could be done. Will he do it? I'm not sure. But it will give him another go around with trying to fix Terminator 2. And for those wondering about my thoughts on True Lies and The Abyss, I did review those in separate things. But I will put that video at the end here. I'll put one of the videos here. And you can watch that and... yeah, very good transfer. Check it out if you have the chance. I loved it. This is now my definitive way to watch Terminator. Thanks for watching. Peace.